Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs, freaks worldwide of all ages, welcome to War Chant Wrap-Up, exclusively on Starcade Media. I am Shaggy Shane. We got my right-hand man this entire season after every Chiefs games, the one, the only, the 21st overall pick in the 1991 draft by your Kansas City Chiefs, running back Harvey Williams. Harvey, it's 11:20 on a Thursday night. How in the hell are you feeling after that big Kansas City Chiefs heavyweight fight? Kansas City Chiefs win 27-20. How you feeling, buddy?
Hey, man, I had to go, like I was telling you earlier, I had to go take a shower, bro, after that one. That's the AFC Championship game, man. And it's, to start off the season like that was incredible. And it went down right to the wire. And I'm just like, I'm still just blown away how great that game was, man. Those two teams right there laid it on the line. Lamar Jackson is incredible. Mahomes, when it's all said and done, when they close the books for the final time, I think he will go down as the greatest quarterback that ever, put on Pampers and had a pacifier in his mouth. So it was incredible. It really was.
All right. Before we delve deep into this game, and we're going to delve deep, we got stats here and some video highlights that we're putting together after the game ended. First, what is War Chant Wrap-Up with your Kansas City Chiefs? Yes, it's a Kansas City Chiefs post-game show. And people that have followed me on my YouTube page between the years 2016 and 2022, I built up 4,000 followers just talking about Chiefs by myself.
Wow.
And I closed the door on that and just wanted to do our Arrowhead Allies. Noah and Clint at Arrowhead Allies asked me, they said, hey, if you want to do a post-game show, do you want us to find any guests? I said, there's only one guest that I want, and that is none other than the Kansas City Chiefs #1 draft pick in 1991, Harvey Williams. Now, I know people might be saying, hold on, Shaggy. He went to the Raiders, but he went to the Raiders and proved himself with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He's all heart. He's Kansas City. Kansas City gave him a start, and it was important for me to bring him on to be my co-anchor for this post-game show because he is a #1 draft pick. He dealt with a lot of adversity, and he persevered. And I built up a rapport with him because he's a hell of a nice guy. He's high IQ, and he knows his football, and he knows the sports. And I said, if I'm going to do a post-game show on Starcade Media, I got to have my guy, Harvey Williams. Harvey, I'm honored to have you be my co-host every game after every Chiefs game this year, buddy. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for that great intro. And like I said, bro, I first started in Kansas City. I lived in Kansas City. If it was up to me, I would still be in Kansas City. But like I said, things happened the way it happened, and I ended up having to go to Los Angeles to prove myself. But if you cut me open, I'm red and gold, purple and gold, and silver and black, all wrapped up in one, man. So let's get it. Let's go.
Amen. And we're going to keep this real, folks. This is real talk. There's nothing going to be sugar-coated here. This is all real talk.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
In Chiefs lore, in Chiefs fan, I'm on the Mount Rushmore of Chiefs coaches and players throughout their entire franchise history. You're going to have Hank Stram and Lynn Dawson. Then you're going to have Marty Schottenheimer and Derek Thomas. On the next one, you're going to have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And
that's Mount Everest.
Yes.
That's Mount Everest.
What did I say? Yeah. Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, you said Rushmore. I almost said Mount Everest. So, Mount Everest. Yeah.
Got to have Harvey, buddy.
Like I was saying, man, like I was saying earlier, bro, at the end of the day, between, Mahomes and Coach doing it's going to be hard to top that. Anything that comes after this, after, 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, they'll be talking about these cats right now, Mahomes and, Coach Reid right now, man, because the way they do it, they make it look so easy. And tonight was just the back and forth. I thought I was watching Ali Frazier, man. It was, and Lamar Jackson ain't no punk. He didn't lay down tonight, but, Kansas City, at the end of the day, I've been watching all the reports and different things. They're talking about, can they do a 3-peat? I really think they can, because if you really think about it, man, they got the wide receiver thing lined up. with all them fighter jets they got out there. I mean, they look like a Jamaican 4x1 sprint team, the way, the wide receiver was moving tonight. And Hollywood wasn't even playing tonight. So that's, Marquise Brown, that's going to be incredible when he gets out there. I don't even know how you're going to slow that down or stop that. So
right. With today's game, good points. But what I want to start off with today's game, where we're at with the Chiefs. As a fan, I was at in the 1991 when Monday Night Football came. Harvey, you were part of that generation of Marty Schottenheimer and Derek Thomas, that era. You were part of that scheme. Now, what I want to know, because what the most exciting time as a Kansas City Chiefs fan is when Joe Montana came to Kansas City and when Patrick Mahomes is, what we're living through right now. When Joe Montana came to Kansas City, Harvey, you told me yesterday. I mean, keep in mind, this was before internet. This was before social media. You were at Winstead's down on the plaza, and the news broke on the TV back in the kitchen that the Chiefs has traded for Joe Montana. I want to know. I want you to tell our viewers what that experience was like, because you knew you were going to be the starter coming into that season in 1993. What was that experience like when you found out at Winstead's while you were getting your shake and your cheeseburger? What that experience was like when everybody found out Joe Montana was coming to Kansas City?
Well, I was sitting in the restaurant and people started screaming, and I thought at first we were being attacked by Russia, and then I saw women crying and men were kneeling down and looking up in the air, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on, man? So I'm trying to figure out. It still didn't hit me what was going on. So I walked outside and people were screaming and blowing their horns and stuff. And it was a woman that was walking to her. I said, can you tell me, did the president get assassinated or something like that? She was like, oh my God, Joe Montana is coming to town. I'm like, what? I'm like, get the hell out of there. There's no way, because you would never think that he would ever lead the 49ers. That's how incredible Joe Montana was. I mean, he was an icon. I remember, when I was a kid, I was a Cowboy fan. I was laying on my auntie's, was having a barbecue or something. I think I was probably 11 or 10 at the time. And, everybody knows about the catch. And they end up beating my Dallas Cowboys with Joe throwing the ball at the back of the end zone. And my old man went up and got it and ended up beating the Cowboys. And you fast forward, with me finding out that he was coming to Kansas City. And then, it was like next thing I know, he was in the locker room. And like when I first saw him, I'm like, man, that's not Joe Montana, because he was frail looking. And then when you get in the same huddle with him, the way he commanded the huddle and different things, it was like, man, I'm in the huddle. It was almost like I was in awe, but it was Joe Montana. It took me a long time to adjust to that and digest that, if that makes sense.
Heck yeah, it does. And the reason why I specifically wanted to bring up that memory in that time is I was at the banner dropping when they showed the World Championship banner last year before the game, and the magic in the crowd was similar to the Monday night game when the Chiefs had their home opener in 1993, when the entire world was going to see Joe Montana and the Kansas City Chiefs. There was a magic in the air that night as the Broncos came to town. Joe Montana, home opener, Chiefs. I want you to take me into the mindset of these players, of what they went through today and what they experienced, their drive to Arrowhead. I tell you what, Harvey, you tell me your drive, your afternoon drive to Arrowhead, where you parked, how the tailgating smelled, and your experience going into that game. What was that entire drive like out of Overland Park to One Arrowhead Drive?
Well, I lived off of 99 Antioch, and big old house on the corner, and it was so many fans that lived in my neighborhood, man. With the banners and different signs and stuff. And everybody pretty much knew where I lived at. But, that morning of the game, before a game, I get really, really quiet. And, you reminisce on as being a little kid that you're getting ready to go, play a big game, and the whole nation is watching it. And you get a chance to get ready to play with Joe Montana. And driving in my little Mercedes, driving down to Arrowhead, man, it was incredible. It takes me back to when I was a kid. I used to see Michael Jackson, waving out the window and different things, and you pulling into the stadium, and people, they already knew my car. Me and Derek Thomas almost had the same little Mercedes SL 500. I think mine looked a whole lot better than his, but people knew our cars and stuff, man. It was just, driving into the stadium, it was electric. It was just, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it. It was, it was just something that I can never describe experience again. It was just an incredible night. And then, they introduced us, and they introduced Joe Montana. I got introduced, and the rest is history, man. It was a great night. And I think that was the start of what you see right now, what they're doing right now in Kansas City.
Oh man, it is. There was a magic in the air that night. The reason why I bring those two generations together is because if it wasn't for the 1990s Chiefs turning around the culture and making that stadium feel so magical and so alive, every fan who goes to a game like tonight,
right,
or in 1993, felt that you were a part of that when you came to the stadium. What CD did you have in the car while you're tuning?
Well, that was Michael Jackson, Dangerous, bro, because I was a Michael Jackson fan. I'm still a Michael Jackson fan, but that Dangerous song would get me hyped up. For the game. That's before Tupac and Biggie became big, but I was a Michael Jackson fan. I think the whole world was Michael Jackson, but I was playing Dangerous. I was trying to get in the zone and get ready for the confrontation that was about to happen, man. I just sitting watching the game tonight, man. It brought me back. I had those same feelings because we were jumping up in my house tonight, screaming and hooping and hollering. It was just like watching the AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl game. That's how electric the game was tonight. And I could feel, they and all that and the echo and stuff. I was like, damn, man. I can't imagine what it is now. That was, I don't know how many years ago that was, but I can't imagine what it is right now, bro. For real.
Right. Well, let's get right to this game, Harvey. The two best teams in the American Football Conference from 2023 last year, they showed today why they are still, I would say, the best two teams in the AFC. It was a back and forth game. Yes. The Chiefs had a chance to put them away. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens had a chance to tie it or possibly go for two. It came down to a toenail. But let's get right to the first drive. I mean, first, let's look at these stats. Let's look at these stats here.
Wow, you got the stats. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Let's see here. Pacheco had 10 rushes for 40 yards and 1 touchdown. Man, what'd you think of his running tonight?
Man, I really like the way that kid runs because he runs like he's pissed off and he got something to prove. I know he was drafted in the 7th round, which is unbelievable because I can't believe that he was, went in the 7th round. But he's making up for it now, man. He runs with a man, a man amongst boys, and he's a little guy, but he runs like Christian Okoye. He has something to prove. And, along with him and the other big guy, what's his name? The running back that was in Cincinnati.
Amari P. Ryan.
P. Ryan. I like P. Ryan. P. Ryan going to be huge in the playoffs, I'm telling you. I was telling you that earlier today, but, and the wide receivers, man, I think they fixed that from last year. They got a Jamaican 4x1 sprint team, man. I can't imagine what's going to happen when, Hollywood Brown gets back. And, Mahomes, I mean, he looks incredible. But when he gets that other piece, it's going to be scary.
Right. Man, Isaiah Likely, their tight end for Baltimore, had 9 catches for 111 yards, almost 2 touchdowns. But let's get to him. Excuse me for jumping ahead, but man, that guy came out of nowhere because Mark Andrews is really, I thought, their stud tight end who was historically, really, really good for him, man. He was really, really good. But let's look at the Chiefs, how they came back and countered with their number 1 draft.
But I end up seeing him run the 40, and he made that look easy. So, he's at least a 10-1 or 10-2 guy on 100 meters, and that's a whole nother level. They found the piece to fill in for Tyreek Hill. I thought when Tyreek got out of here, I thought that was a bad decision. I thought he should be still here, but they fixed that problem along with Rice. Rashid Rice went off tonight, and I can't, like I said, Hollywood Brown is not even out there yet. Kelsey didn't even get get a chance to get going tonight. It's gonna be the Harlem Globetrotters here in the next 4 or 5 weeks, man. It's gonna be hard to stop them.
Yes, Rashid Rice had 7 catches for 103 yards. It seemed like that crossing to Rashid Rice was open all night, wasn't it?
Man, I mean, can you imagine chasing them dudes across, they're running crossing routes like that, and you got one guy that has world-class speed, you got another guy that had, that's a 4-3, 4-2 guy, and you got Kelsey that's being sneaky, that's sneaking out there, beating up and whooping a linebacker's ass. It's gonna be hard to just, and then you got Mahomes that's a point guard, like a Michael Jordan or AI that's he's dealing the cards. It's going to be hard to beat Kansas City. They keep talking about a lot of guys that I was watching on ESPN and NBC and different little sport things on the internet. I don't think they can three-peat and all that. I'm like, what are y'all talking about, man? They're going to do it again. Right. Watch what I tell you. It's I know it's 31 teams, 32 teams. They talk about when you win a championship, the 31 other teams are trying to build teams to beat you. But I don't think you can match that. Andy Reid has, his gumbo is nice, and he got it cooking right now.
Yeah, he does.
Yes,
and that Xavier Worthy, and him, Rashee Rice, and like you said, Hollywood Brown, he hasn't even he's probably not going to be back for another 2 or 3 weeks, but that's going to add so much. And your former teammate, J.J. Burton, was extremely high on Xavier Worthy. I wanted Xavier Legette in the draft. And when it didn't happen, I was kind of bummed. But J.J. Burton was like, no, Shaggy, you're going to love Xavier Worthy. He's been watching him closely. And I know J.J. Burton runs track, and I know Xavier Worthy can fly. So to get that reassurance from J.J., as well as Pat Mahomes Sr. Pat Mahomes Sr. and J.J. Burton loved Xavier Worthy.
Well, that's great. I got a chance to see him a little, some highlights when he was at Texas.
Yeah.
And he was doing his thing at Texas. And then to see him run at 40, when the crowd went, ooh, when you hear him do that, he stepped. And he made that look easy because it looked like he didn't really get out. And, right now he got the fastest time in history, with a 4.21. So, and he can run routes. He's just not a track guy, a guy that can run in straight line. He can actually run routes. And then how they using him across the formation and run reverses, man, the sky going to be the limit for that kid.
Definitely. And after that happened, the Chiefs, Chris Jones really killed that drive, but Patrick Mahomes got it the third and manageable, and he freaking chucked the ball to the end zone to Juju Smith-Schuster, and he just couldn't pull it in. So after that strip sack by Chris Jones, the Chiefs had to settle for a field goal. What did you think of that sequence? What did you think about Chris Jones?
I think when you're looking at excellence, when you talk about Chris Jones, I think one day he's going to be a Hall of Famer. It takes 3 guys to block that guy, man. On Kansas City's defense, Kansas City has a hell of a defense, man, and their corners are nice, really nice too. So along with that offense, it's gelling. Along with that defense, I'm gonna say it again, Shaggy. It's gonna be hard to beat Kansas City, man. It really is. I saw it tonight. It's gonna be, and this is just the first game.
Heck yeah. It was disappointing that they had to settle for that field goal. John Harrison, one of our followers, said, great game with a crazy ending that passed a lively. Burning Bolton is precisely why you don't pay him a big contract. Wow, come down on Nick Bolton now. John calling it. He can't cover the pass. He's bad. If it's a decision to pay Trey Smith or Nick Bolton, you pay Smith, the right guard. They can draft a younger, cheaper middle linebacker after that pass. Okay, John's going back to the end of the game. Did you fault Nick Bolton in that pass play, Harvey? Was that fair to criticize him, or do you think? I mean, if you're the defensive coordinator, are you going to criticize Nick Bolton for not staying with Lively on that play?
Man, I mean, like I said, Lively runs a 4.4, man. So I mean, to have a guy to try to keep up with a guy like that, I mean, it ain't like back in the old days when tight ends were running 4.7 and 4.8s and couldn't run out of sight in a day. That cat right there can run, and he's nimble and he has nice hips. So I heard about him last year because I had him, I think a couple of times on my fantasy teams, man. And you can see the greatness in him, and he showed out tonight. He showed up and showed out tonight. And then that play that he got hurt at the back of the end zone, that was unfortunate. But I think he came back in, at the end of the game to try to to make that catch to tie the game up and take it out overtime.
Right. And hey, let's go. Thank you, Kurt Thacker, buddy. Appreciate you. All right, and let's go. What do you think about Trent McDuffie on this fourth
play, man? And them cats came to play tonight. They really did. The cornerbacks were coming up, being nasty. They were bringing the wood, and defensive front was was pushing them, and it was just Shaggy, tonight was a great game. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I thought it was going to be a boring football game. I thought the Ravens would come out and let King Henry do his thing. And, it turned out to be a nail biter tonight. It really was. It was a great game.
And of course, before on 3rd and 12, when the Chiefs needed to get that,
it's hard to stop that. It's really hard to stop that. And they're on the same page. They're on the same wavelength. And it was incredible just to see that. And for the rest of the year, it's going to be like that and probably more. But they're on the same page, and they just look at each other and they know what to do. That was incredible. Yeah. But that was a triple move, though, if you go back and watch that.
Heck yes. Yes. Let's go back. Let's do it again. Let's watch it. Where's that triple move at? Let's see.
How can you stop that?
Man, he's going to be 35 years old next month. Does he look 35?
Yeah, no, man. That's just like playing in the street, and you in the middle of the street with your friends, and you running around and you trying to get open, and that only works in street ball, not in the National Football League, man. But they make it look so easy. So yeah, they're gonna keep on doing it. But Kansas City is the team to beat. They look great.
And let's look at Isaiah Likely. We're talking about Travis Kelce being 35. Let's look, just what he did to get the
let him go by. Hey, you know what? If you'd have done me like that, man, I think I would have got a penalty, man. You got your mom and daddy watching, and he slam on brakes like that, making you go all the way to the concession stand. Yeah, man. I think I would have slapped him after that, bro. But you would never think nobody in the National Football League would do a move like that, man. Because 9 times out of 10, where I come from, you would have got hurt because somebody would hit you in the side of the head doing that.
Yeah, they would. Hell yeah, they would. And that was game on. That was the first play of the fourth quarter. So you're thinking, man, the Chiefs better answer. There's still fourth quarter left, and they're only up by 3. Then the Patrick
and got a diaper on, and then the old folks home. You're gonna be saying, you know what? You're gonna be shaking too. I already said that. Watch what I tell you. He's special, man. Our little league teams wouldn't have blown the coverage like that, Shaggy. I'm being dead serious. I'm not bragging or anything like that. You can't do that, man. When you got a guy that fast, he can't come open like that. At least Dublin have a guy over the top. You're talking about a guy that has run the fastest time in history in the 40, 4.21. That's special, man. That's coming from another planet. Most human beings can't run that fast unless you're running in the Olympics like Noah Lyles and them type of cats like that, man. That's special right there.
Right.
But he gonna make us forget about Tyreek.
Yeah, first game as an NFL player, he scores 2 touchdowns. And let's get to the ending. It came down. It's 27-20. The Baltimore Ravens have to go 87 yards with no timeouts and 1 minute and 50 seconds left. And Lamar Jackson, who ended up, passing for 26 of 41 for 273 yards and a touchdown, he had to go with no timeouts. You didn't like his chances because historically Lamar Jackson doesn't make it happen. He rushed 16 times for 122, but historically you think Lamar Jackson against the Chiefs wasn't going to get it done. But I'll say this: Lamar Jackson has worked his tail off. He's lost a lot of weight this offseason.
Yes, he did.
The only thing that concerns me about that is he might be brittle. He takes such a beating. But to this point, he drove 77 yards down the field, and he missed on the second to the last play of the game.
Yeah.
He missed a bait. Was it? No, it was bait. I think it was Bateman or Flowers. He missed it back of the end zone.
I think it was Flowers. It was Flowers. Yeah. But let me ask you this.
Okay.
What do you do to stop him as a defensive coordinator? What do you do to stop Lamar Jackson when he jumps around now? Now you go back and you look at the only person that you could compare him with is Michael Vick. The only thing Michael Vick had on him, Michael Vick probably be a little faster than him in a straight line, but from jumping from side to side in that box right there, it's nothing you can do because he's still looking down the field and he can feel the pressure that's coming and he's just jumping in and out of cuts and he's going to jump out the box. And the next thing you know, he's a 4-3 guy too, 4-2 guy at quarterback. What do you do to stop a guy like that? Do you put a spy on him? What do you do?
Well, the Chiefs did drafted in 2020. The Chiefs drafted Willie Gay, who spied him in college, and they did a good job. They did. They said, well, he was a good spy middle linebacker. That was one of the little notes on Willie Gay, but they don't have Willie Gay. Willie Gay went to the Saints in free agency, and I won't say Willie Gay's missed. I know John Harrison said on our show last week on Arrowhead Allies, he said Willie Gay didn't play in the AFC Championship game. So in the AFC Championship game last year in Baltimore, Spagnuolo was able to make Lamar Jackson a pocket passer and really stymied him. But
didn't do it tonight, though.
Yeah, tonight's game, like I said, Lamar Jackson had to go 87 yards with 1 minute and 50 seconds left. He went 77 yards at the 10-yard line. And, let's get to the last play of the game. They throw the pass. They say touchdown. Then they go and they say, thank God every touchdown is.
I actually thought he was in at first when I first saw it because I thought his toe, the front part of his foot was up off the ground and the cleat under the bottom had punched in. I thought he was in, but, it was a great win for us, and man, I literally had to go take a shower, and when Lamar got the ball, you had to know that he was going to drive it down there, man, because I started getting the bubble guts, man. I started getting diarrhea because I knew exactly what they were getting ready to go do, and he drove it down there, and I was screaming and hooping and hollering. It was a great game. It was a great first game. For the 2024 season, and man, you can't start off no better than that.
If let's say, Harvey, you're a coach or you're a player on this team, and you see how the Chiefs won this game, it was a dogfight.
Yes.
Of course, you want to address any of the concerns, any areas of the game where you feel the team came up short. If you're going to be critical of the Chiefs at all tonight, would it be? What would you look at? The red zone offense, Juju Smith-Schuster not being able to make that miraculous catch in the second quarter. If you had any criticism about the Chiefs tonight playing against the second best team in the AFC, what would it be?
Bro, the keep it 1,000 with you.
Yes.
And I played the National Football League a long time, bro. To go down the checklist and to see what they did tonight is just to keep building on what they did tonight. I don't see any weakness in the Chiefs. You can say the red zone and different things. I mean, the Ravens is not a pushover team. That's a Super Bowl team, man. And Kansas City went and beat them last year, so them cats are already gonna have a chip on their shoulder coming in the Arrowhead tonight. They weren't gonna play dead and lay over. So they really wanted to beat Kansas City because Lamar Jackson has a problem with Mahomes, and in his mind, he's the better quarterback, and he thinks he's on a better team, and they just didn't pull it out tonight. So Kansas City got that X on their back. As far as finding any weaknesses, I don't see any weaknesses, not right now. The part that I want to see when Hollywood Brown come back is going to be, as my grandmother used to say, "Ooh-wee!" It's going to be a wrap, dog. I can't wait to see what's happening when that kid get back and they really spread it out. And you can tell Reed was holding back a little bit, and he couldn't really, put a lot of spice on the gumbo tonight. So he know the whole country was watching tonight. So you can't show everything that you have in the arsenal.
Right. The Chiefs were on the verge. You felt the Chiefs were on the verge of pulling the game away when they started their own long drive. I think it was near the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth, where we drove from our own 10 and we got to the 50 and it was 3rd and 3, and they tried to do a swing pass to Pirine out of the backfield.
Oh yeah.
You could see you could see the timing of. Yeah. I mean, Pirine's only been here 1 week.
Yeah, so but you're right. He's a little slower.
Once they get that timing down, they'll get it. But I got to ask you this question, Harvey. We're going to talk Chiefs and Raiders. Folks, when those two games come up, we're going to break that down thoroughly. The Chiefs had to get Samari Pirine, who was an excellent addition, but their first choice was Brandon Jacobs. The Chiefs spent a day and a half trying to bring Brandon Jacobs in to Kansas City to back up Isaiah Pacheco. And he made it clear, I hate the Chiefs. I'm not going to go to the Chiefs. I would rather go to Green Bay and freeze in November, December, and January than play for the Chiefs. Harvey, you are on a long list of players and coaches. Art Schill got fired in 1994 as the head coach of the Raiders, became the Chiefs offensive line coach in 95. You're a long list of players that played for both teams. In your personal opinion, I know you can describe the animosity between both the Chiefs
Oh,
and the Raiders. What did you think? If you were in Brandon Jacobs' ear, if you had anything to say to him, would you say, hey, dude, do what you want to do? Or would you say, hey, man, I think you might want to consider Kansas City?
bro, I've been on both sides. So, I mean, you got to understand one thing about the National Football League. When you're with your pack, that is your pack. So when I played for Kansas City, I hated the silver and black, bro. I hated them so much when the game first started. When the first time we played against the Raiders, Al Davis would be on the field and we running routes and trying to catch the ball. I actually tried to run into the man. Actually, that's how much they had brainwashed me. The Raiders were like the Darth Vader of the National Football League. And then when I became a Raider, it flipped. It was the same thing, man. I hated Kansas City. It's a lot of brainwashing that goes on. You got to think about it because you're with your brothers in the locker room, and football is a war. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Football is a war, and wars are won with individual battles. So you gotta whoop your man's ass that's up in front, and on both sides of the ball. So I understand when he said that he wouldn't come to Kansas City because I was in that same situation, and other players will tell you the same thing. So yeah, I understand where he was coming from with that.
So you weren't surprised that Brandon Jacobs turned down the Chiefs?
No, because I like I said, he was with the Raiders, his whole career, and then for him to come, put that that red and gold. It's the same thing with Marcus, man. When Marcus was with the Raiders, he hated Kansas City. Yep. And then you come over here and they brainwash you and rewire you and you give you a different language and different things like that. Then you become what you become what your environment is, and that's the way the National Football League is. But you can't fault him for that. And then Kansas City Chief and Raider Chief players, they flip flop, they switch. It happens all the time. So that's nothing new. He just voiced it.
Yeah, he just said, I'm not going to be. I'm not
coming out there. Yeah,
I'm not going to play on that emotion. Well, getting to P. Ryan, I think it was a great addition. I talked to you yesterday on the phone. You believe he'll be a great addition. So once Patrick and Samari work on the timing, like I said, he's only been here 7 days. That'll be a big completion. So I think, in my opinion, if you're going to ask me where the Chiefs might have fallen short today, it might have been just because of the timing, just because it's the first game. Not because
you're talking about on that little swing pass.
Yeah, like it was just.
But you got to understand one thing about Mahomes. Great quarterbacks like that, they know the different speeds of the different players. Like I'm a totally different. I would be a different speed than Pacheco and P. Ryan or Marcus Allen or Eric Dickerson. Those type of quarterbacks know I got to put some mustard on it, or I need to just take a little bit off of it. And in a couple of weeks, when they're gonna keep working that, and they're gonna get that. If he'd have caught that, he'd walked in the end zone.
Yeah, well, that was just 40 yards down the field.
Well, yeah, he'd walk. And he's a big old dude he's a big dude with big hips and a big old booty. It's gonna take an 18-wheeler to bring him down, man, because he's a man child. He really is. Definitely
thrilled to have Samari P. Ryan on the freaking team. Yeah. He's going to be great once they get that timing down. It's 2 minutes to midnight. Harvey, do you got anything you want to say in closing before we're back here in 10 days to Cincinnati?
I'm going to turn into a werewolf, bro. What time you said it is?
It's 2 minutes till midnight.
Yeah, I got to get, because my fangs about to start coming out, and my wife, she'll turn into a werewolf too. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to having fun this year, and go Chiefs and go Raiders. I'm rooting for both teams, man. But you know how I feel about both teams, man. It's just like rooting for one of my parents, my mother and my father, when it comes to those two organizations. So it's gonna be an honor to break the Kansas City Chiefs games down. Kansas City is part of me. It's part of my life. Like I was telling you the last time we were talking, I owe the Hunts family for giving me an opportunity and making my dreams come true, and with the Davis family also.
Heck yeah, Harvey, this has been a blast. It's going to be an epic season. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the first episode of War Chant Wrap Up. If you like what you see, and I know you do, how can you not like this? Cheers, Harvey.
Yes, sir.
Hit the subscribe button at Starcade on the YouTube and the Facebook and the Instagram and the Twitter, and come back and we'll do it again. Harvey, let's do it in 10 days. We'll be breaking down Chiefs and Bengals. Are you ready?
Love you, my brother. Appreciate it, man. Let's get it.
All right, man. That's it, folks. See you in 10 days. Go Chiefs.
Peace.